Welcome to DirtGearTv. We're not in Florida anymore, we're in Vegas. So I just took a quick trip out here to Vegas with my family just to do a weekend here at the Bellagio and watch the Kentucky Derby. So we're here just for a quick trip. We'll be back in Florida pretty soon because I got an engine to build, but while we're here I might as well show you guys a little bit of Vegas. Over here are these are the famous fountains that everybody knows of. So they play the music, and every 15 minutes, I'll try to get some on video, every 15 minutes is a water show. Check it out. This is a suite, 17th floor, pool view, mountains, desert, highway. The view from the other side, we just came from, I think Caesars is down there. We just came from Caesars in the Venetian. It's the MGM Grand, Aria. Very nice. Look at this, check it out. There is a TV in the bathroom mirror. What? Dude, are you kidding me? Literally, the bathroom vanity has its own remote control. That's nuts. Not believe the phone call that I got yesterday. So it's 8 o'clock in the morning. Today is the only free day I've had this week, and I get a phone call from the machine shop yesterday, right? Now, my engine deadline was to be today because I have to leave for Vegas tomorrow, and so I need to get the engine back, so that way as soon as I get back from Vegas, I can start building the engine in time to get to Durhamtown. Well, the guy that was building my engine quit the day that it was supposed to be finished. Literally the day he walks out. The guy's been there for like a decade, and the day the engine was supposed to be done, this dude, he's no longer there. Okay, I don't know the backstory. I don't care to know the backstory. He's no longer there. So I've got a lot planned for this trip for Durhamtown. I've got people flying in on flights. I've got transportation. We've got cabins that are already paid for, events. I mean, there's a lot going on behind the scenes, and I got a lot of money into it, a lot of money into the engine. So I've got to have this engine done in time for Durhamtown. We've already delayed this trip by several months just because of my engine build. I called all other local shops that would be able to run a crank balancing machine. We're talking 4 to 8 weeks on any of them if I go to Jacksonville, if I go to Orlando, anywhere else. The only thing that nobody in that shop knows how to do other than the fella that left is run the crank balancer. So the owner says to me on the phone, he says, well, since there's no other option and I wanted to get this thing done, I promised you I'd get it done for you. He says, if you want and you know how to run a crank balancing machine, I'll let you do it. Yeah, so I'm on my way now down to the shop to try to figure out how to balance this crank. I think I have a pretty good handle on the process, but it's one of those things that I cannot afford to make a mistake on. That's the problem. So that's where we're at. Today is going to be interesting. I'll be at the shop here in about 10 minutes, and we'll pick it up again once I get there. See ya. All right, back here at the shop, and you can see my crank is still on the balancing machine. And now that task is on me to figure out how to run this thing. So the good news is it's already set up. This is something I did not want to have to do, is figure out the bob weights and the weighting and the balance. But the way that this machine works is that it has sensors in here, and we spin it up, and it takes a weight from this side and it takes a weight from this side, and then it tells us either how much material needs to be added to the counterweights or removed from the counterweights. In my case, we're going to definitely have to remove some material, so it's going to be my task to find out and measure and cut out how much we need removed from here. And what I'm going to do is drill holes in the sides to get that weight added in. So hopefully this machine is not too difficult to figure out. So that's where we're at, and wish me luck. Okay, so this is the original head, or this is the one we're going to be using. And I told you guys I got that spare head, so that's the spare head. And what we're going to be able to do here is he's probably going to pull the valves out of this one, because originally when we set the clearance on these valves, he had to touch up these are shimless buckets that go in this. So rather than having to buy all new buckets, he just shaved a little bit of the stem on these to make the clearance up. So we're probably going to use the valves in this, provided that they are good valves, and that will give us the extra added clearance that is needed, because I've got camshafts coming in for this. And the whole purpose of having this new head, and the reason why I ordered this thing besides those valves, is what we're going to do is they're going to drill this out and use that head as a torque plate, so that way when that engine gets torqued down, or when that head gets torqued down, it's going to replicate the tension that's being put on the main studs. Because it's going to distort those cylinders, so that way we'll be able to hone this thing out, or bore in, hone the thing out, with having that torque on the engine. So that's the plan. That's why I got that spare head. All right, guys, just got back from the machine shop. So today was the last day that I was able to be at the machine shop to do any work on the engine. I got the crank balanced out so perfectly. Oh, it's a beautiful thing. So what I did was I got the crank first balanced within the crank itself, and then what I did is I installed the harmonic balancer on it. If you guys remember, my external crank wheel required that I weld that crank trigger plate onto the harmonic balancer. I was afraid that because I welded a part onto it, it wasn't going to be balanced. So once I got the crank close to where I wanted it to be, within about a gram or two, I slapped that harmonic balancer on. Sure enough, the harmonic balancer was off a little bit as well. So I added a little bit of weld to one of the sides of the harmonic balancer, which brought the thing in just perfectly. I think it was 1.7 grams over in the front and like 1.4 grams in the rear over. So that's about as close as I'm going to get with this engine. Once the clutch goes on, once everything else bolts on, that 1 gram is not going to matter. You know, some guys will spend just an enormous amount of time going through and getting these things down below 1 gram. But when you bolt your flywheel on and you bolt your clutch on and everything goes into it, you're several grams way off in either direction. So getting it really close like that is good. I didn't even tell you guys. New wheels and tires. This is what's coming to Durhamtown. I'll show you. Look at these babies. These are MRT motor race tires, the Rally Snakes. So these are super sticky tires, super soft rubber on these. I am going to blast through this tread, which really maybe that wasn't the best idea because these things are like 300 bucks a tire. Actually, I got these on sale. I got them for 200 bucks a tire, so not too bad there. These are the ITP, I think these are the Tornadoes, the ITP Tornadoes. I wanted something a little more rally, so that's why we're using these guys. Now these fronts, these are a little skinnier, the fronts, but they've got a much deeper tread on them. Really, I didn't do this on purpose, get two different types of tires. They did not have any more of the Moto Race Rally Snakes in the size that I needed. That's gonna be a problem.